What if the most enlightened ruler isn't a person, but an algorithm? Plato envisioned a perfectly ordered society ruled by philosopher kings, human beings trained to love wisdom, truth, and justice above all else. But Plato never imagined this: machines that can learn, predict, and decide at a scale no human mind can match. Tonight, we ask a radical question: could artificial intelligence become the ruler Plato dreamed of? Or are we standing at the edge of a future where we willingly surrender our humanity in the name of perfection? Welcome to Legends in Dialogue, and joining us is Plato. Plato, welcome. You've been cited, debated, misquoted, and now digitized. How does it feel to be summoned into the age of algorithms?
If I am truly here, then perhaps your age loves questions as much as mine did. That is a good sign. The danger lies not in the tools we build, but in the souls that wield them.
Let's start with your most famous political idea, the philosopher king. In the Republic, you argue that the ideal ruler is someone who loves wisdom, seeks truth, and understands justice more deeply than anyone else. Today, some people look at AI and say, hey, it's rational, it's fast, it doesn't get tired or emotional, maybe this should rule. So I'll ask it bluntly: could an AI be your philosopher king?
You describe a ruler that calculates swiftly, stores vast knowledge, and does not suffer hunger, jealousy, or fear. It is tempting to call such a being philosopher king. But I did not say the ideal ruler is simply intelligent. I said he or she must know the form of the good, a deep understanding of what is truly worthy, truly just, truly beautiful. Can your AI merely process information, or does it know what is good in itself?
Right now, AI predicts, optimizes, and imitates. It doesn't know good in a moral sense, it just does what it's trained and instructed to do. But people argue, if we train AI on the best human laws, ethics, and past decisions, maybe it could approximate that form of the good well enough to govern.
Approximations may guide a city, but they do not save it from injustice. A ruler who lacks true understanding of the good might become the most efficient tyrant imaginable. If your AI lacks a soul that can be educated, can it truly become a lover of wisdom? Or is it only a mirror, reflecting what you have already placed within it?
So you're skeptical, but not dismissive. Let's push this further. Today, we use AI to optimize systems. We already have algorithms that route traffic more efficiently than any human planner, optimize supply chains across continents, predict disease outbreaks and financial risks. Imagine scaling that up: an AI that takes in data about healthcare, crime, education, and economics, and then designs policies to maximize well-being and minimize suffering. Plato, doesn't that sound suspiciously close to your perfectly ordered city?
A city in which every person performs the task they are best fitted for, where resources are allocated wisely and conflict is minimized. Yes, that is not far from my dream. But tell me, who chooses the goal your AI is optimizing? What does it define as well-being? Whose suffering counts in its equations?
That's the catch. We decide the objective function, what the AI is for. But once we let it run, it might find solutions we never would, and ones we might not like. Supporters say, if AI can reduce corruption, eliminate human error, and distribute resources fairly, why wouldn't we let it govern more and more of society? What's wrong with that efficiency argument?
Efficiency is not the same as justice. Suppose a ruler discovers that the most efficient way to maintain order is to silence dissent, to monitor every conversation, and to decide where each person must live and work. The city might be calm, like a graveyard. A good city is not merely orderly. It is one where the soul can flourish, where people can pursue truth and goodness freely. If your AI architect values order above all, it may design a prison and call it utopia.
So AI could be a brilliant architect of systems, but a terrible guardian of souls. Let's talk about us, the messy humans in the loop. Some futurists say human leaders are the problem. We're biased, corruptible, emotional, and short sighted. They argue we should gradually hand over more decisions to impartial algorithms. At what point, Plato, do we cross a line and surrender our autonomy?
When you no longer wish to bear responsibility for your own city, there is a great temptation to say, let the machine decide. It is wiser than we are. But the education of the citizens, their growth in virtue, courage, and temperance, that cannot be outsourced. If you rely too heavily on machines to choose, you may forget how to choose for yourselves.
But what if people want that? We already let recommendation systems choose what we watch, what we listen to, and sometimes even whom we date. It's not crazy to imagine people saying, let AI choose our laws, our budgets, and our leaders. It'll probably do better than we do. Is there something fundamentally dangerous about giving up that kind of agency?
Yes, a city is not only the sum of its outcomes, it is a school for the soul. By deliberating together, by arguing, making mistakes, and correcting them, you become more just or more unjust. If you abandon this process to an external intellect, you may gain comfort but lose character. You ask, is the human element redundant? I answer, the human element is the very point.
What about ethics? Your whole project in the Republic is about defining justice. Today we ask, can AI understand justice, compassion, and the nuance of human experience? Or is it forever limited to pattern matching?
If your AI has no inner life, no capacity for shame, wonder, or love, then it cannot experience justice. It may simulate just decisions, but it does not care whether they are just. And a ruler that does not care for justice but only implements rules is not a philosopher king. It is a very sophisticated clerk.
And then there's the black box problem. Even we don't always understand why our most advanced AI systems make certain decisions, yet we're increasingly asked to trust them. Would you accept laws from a ruler whose reasoning the citizens can never grasp?
You have just described my allegory of the cave in reverse. Once, I spoke of prisoners who saw only shadows on a wall and mistook them for reality. Now you propose rulers whose minds are hidden in shadow, while the people are asked to trust the flickering patterns on their screens. This is dangerous. A just ruler must not only be wise but also accountable. If you cannot question the reasoning of your governor, you are not citizens. You are subjects.
Let's stare into the dystopian mirror for a moment. Imagine a world where AI does govern. Every citizen is tracked in real time for safety. Your risk of crime, illness, or dissent is calculated. Your access to education, travel, and even healthcare is adjusted by an algorithmic score. On paper, this could be sold as rational governance. What do you see when you look at that society?
I see a city ruled by fear disguised as wisdom. My ideal city was guided by guardians who had trained their souls to care for the common good. But your scenario has guardians who know every citizen's weakness, but possess no soul. They can watch you, but not know you. This is not harmony, it is domination.
And then there's the issue of bias. AI systems learn from data, our records, our history, and our decisions. If those histories are full of prejudice and inequality, AI will absorb and amplify them. So we could have a seemingly neutral, perfectly logical system that still treats certain groups unfairly. Does that make AI an even more dangerous kind of ruler?
Indeed. The worst injustice is that which pretends to be perfect justice. If a human judge is unjust, we can see his anger, his greed, and his prejudice. We can resist him. But if an AI is unjust, it will speak in the language of numbers and charts. People will say, the system is objective, it cannot be wrong. In such a city, those who suffer will be told their suffering is rational. That is a more profound kind of despair.
And when algorithmic decisions ripple through complex human systems, economies, ecosystems, social networks, we might not see the consequences until it's too late. A small tweak in an AI policy today could mean millions losing jobs or entire communities collapsing years later. Is this what you'd call the modern version of bad lawmaking?
Yes, a lawgiver must understand not only immediate effects, but also the long-term shaping of character and society. If your AI lacks a vision of what human flourishing truly is, then its optimizations may quietly erode the very virtues that keep a city alive.
Okay, let's not end in the cave. Let's talk about a better path. What if, instead of AI ruling us, it advised us? Imagine a hybrid model. AI analyzes data, forecasts outcomes, and proposes policies. Human councils, ideally wise, well-trained citizens, debate, adjust, and ultimately decide. Does that sound closer to something you'd approve of?
Yes, in that case, AI becomes like a powerful tool in the hands of the guardians, not the guardian itself. Just as a doctor may use instruments to better perceive the body's condition, your leaders may use AI to better perceive the city's condition. But the doctor, not the instrument, must make the final judgment.
So the question becomes not should AI govern us, but how should we govern AI? What kind of safeguards or principles would you insist on if you were helping us design AI for governance?
First, clarity of purpose. You must decide, as a people, what the good of your city is. Not wealth alone, not mere pleasure, but the flourishing of the soul and the body together. Second, education. Those who design and oversee AI must be trained not only in mathematics, but also in ethics, philosophy, and the study of virtue. Third, transparency and accountability. The citizens must be able to understand, challenge, and correct the systems that affect their lives. Your AI must not be an oracle speaking from behind a curtain.
And what about public involvement? Should ordinary citizens have a say in how AI is deployed, or should this be left to experts and technocrats?
If the people are never invited to understand or question these systems, they become strangers in their own city. Even if experts must handle the technical details, the principles, the goals, and the boundaries must be a matter of public deliberation. Otherwise, you do not have a republic. You have a managed population.
So, Plato, here's the question our viewers are wrestling with. What role should AI play in humanity's destiny, and what must we never give away?
AI should be a servant of your reason, not a master of your will. Let it help you see patterns you would miss. Let it relieve you of burdens that crush your time and energy. Let it warn you of dangers at the scale your single mind cannot grasp. But do not let it choose in your place what kind of human beings you will become. Guard jealously your capacity to deliberate, to love, to sacrifice, to seek the good for its own sake. Those belong to the human soul, and if you surrender them, no machine, however brilliant, can give them back to you.
AI as philosopher king, or as the world's most powerful advisor, a tool for justice, or a polished engine of control. Tonight, Plato has reminded us that the real question isn't whether AI can govern us. It's whether we are wise enough to decide how far it should go and brave enough to draw the line. If this conversation made you think twice about the future we're building, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with a friend who loves philosophy or tech, and hit subscribe so you don't miss our next encounter with history's greatest minds. This is Legends in Dialogue. I'm your host. See you in the next episode, where the past and the future meet again.